What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I quickly just wanted to get out a short news video for you guys because, as you can see by the title, Chipsa will be signing with the Philadelphia Fusion for the 2020 Overwatch League season. And I really didn't want to wait for a news recap to make this just because this is so massive and unexpected, really. I did not think Chipsa was going to end up in the Overwatch League, nor did I really think anyone was interested in signing him, but here he is. Let's quickly just take a look at the official social media post made by the Fusion and what Chipsa had to say on his Twitter as well before we dive into it and I give my thoughts on all of this. So starting with the Fusion, here's what they had to say in the announcement. What it's like when an Overwatch League team plays around a Doomfist, we're about to find out. Please welcome the greatest, least unlucky Doomfist in the world, Chipsa. Then to further confirm that he is indeed signing with the Fusion, Chipsa on his Twitter said, extremely excited to be joining at Fusion as a DPS player. I love the team and am looking forward to working with the players and staff. I'm really sorry if it sounds like I'm freaking out, guys, but this was just so surprising and unexpected. I'm losing my mind right now. I did not think anything like this would ever happen. Never did I ever expect Chipsa to join the Overwatch League. I was aware that some Fusion juice was going to be dropping because about 22 hours ago as of this recording, BLT, who is the team president of the Fusion, said that some juice was dropping, but Chipsa of all people? This is just madness. Let's talk about this move though. So Chipsa, I know he's kind of a big meme in this community, but he's honestly not a bad player. We all know him for his really good Doomfist, but he's also just a solid projectile player in general. I think that his Genji, Hanzo, and Pharah are all decent, and you never know, he could end up being a decent piece on this team. Now he's going to have some stiff competition as EQO and Ivy both play a lot of the same heroes as him, but if it's a Doomfist-centric meta, then I can see Chipsa maybe getting the nod to start. It is interesting that they'd want him though. I understand it from the popularity point of view, he's going to give you a lot of fans, but with you already having Carpe, EQO, Ivy, Snillo on a 2-way contract, and the newly acquired Hisu from Runaway, was it really worth getting Chipsa? Did you really need him on your roster when you already have all of those DPS players? Even if Chipsa doesn't get a lot of playtime or he's not that good, just the fact that he's on this team is just so good for this organization in general. You have so many really likable players. You have Carpe, EQO, then there's Fury and Poco, Funny Astro's pretty awesome, a lot of people love Alarm, and now you have Chipsa as well. I think Chipsa's going to get along with this team pretty well, especially when you consider the fact that he's a couple of fellow Brits on his team in Boombox and Funny Astro. But as exciting as this Chipsa signing is, now we have to talk about why the Fusion decided not to get another main tank for the upcoming 2020 season, at least for now, because if you didn't know, now because of this Chipsa addition, their roster's full. They can't get any more players unless they decide to cut or trade somebody. But yeah, the Fusion are just going to be rolling into the year with Sado to start, and I know a lot of people are very unhappy with him just because he really didn't play well last year, especially on that Reinhardt. But I think everybody should give Sado another chance. He's not quite as bad as people say. I think it's mostly that his Ryan is just not good. I think his Orisa wasn't quite as good as it was in Season 1, but we know he can play decent on that hero, and his Winston's really good too, so if Winston is meta, then he'll be just fine. But even though I think people need to cut Sado a bit more slack, I still think there is a possibility he underperforms again, especially because of the fact that 2019 probably ruined his confidence a little bit because so many people were criticizing him and he just didn't play well overall. So that is a bit of a concern. And if he does struggle, then he will be a very exploitable weakness on this Fusion team. It'll be probably the only weakness though, which is good, but still, he will be a weakness if he doesn't really step up his game. But who knows, maybe the Fusion have a plan if Sado doesn't end up doing well. Perhaps the rest of that team will be able to pick up the slack because after all, the rest of the players on that starting lineup are just really strong. And I think that because they have so much star power, maybe they can work together as one big unit to kind of cover up that Sado weakness and just pop off a bunch. It's not just going to be Carpe and EQO carrying the team basically this year. I think guys like Alarm and Fury are really going to step it up and help this team. So yeah, if the rest of the players on the Fusion can do their jobs and maybe pick up the slack a little if Sado's struggling, I think this team could very well still end up being like top 5 in the league. I'm going to try and think positively here just because I know Sado's been getting so much hate lately, and I'll say that if Sado ends up doing just enough and he turns it around in 2020, then I think the Fusion will be just fine and there really won't be any major weaknesses on this team. I think that all Sado really has to do is play like average. He doesn't even need to be amazing as long as he gets the job done. So long as he can hold his own in most of the matches he plays, I think the Fusion will be just fine since there's so many other playmakers on this roster to help pick up the slack, even if he doesn't play like a superstar would. And as long as he's not a detriment to this team, as long as he doesn't have any sort of negative impact, I think the Fusion could be title contenders. But of course, we have to look at it from both points of view. So if he does end up underperforming, then this could definitely really hurt the Fusion's chances of being title contenders, in my opinion at least. If Sado does not play well and it ends up being a problem for the Fusion, I don't think it's the end of the world. Yeah, I do know that they have a full roster right now and everything, as I mentioned before, but they do have some flexibility, as they could always demote Snillo and just make him a contenders player instead of a two-way, or maybe they could trade somebody like Boombox just because they have Alarm now. With so many interesting storylines surrounding them, I think the 2020 season is going to be very interesting for the Fusion, and I plan to keep a very close eye on them. But one last time before I close out the video, congrats to Chipsa. I never thought he'd make it into the Overwatch League, but I'm really happy for him. I think this is a really good opportunity for him. His stream is probably going to take a little bit of a hit since he can't stream as frequently, obviously, with him having to scrim and play games, but I think most of his fans will be really happy for him since now they get to watch him on the big stage. Oh, and one other thing. Was I the only person who thought Chipsa was just getting signed as a streamer? Because that's what I initially thought, but then I saw BLT, team manager of the Philadelphia Fusion, once again just say in the comment section of that announcement that he's actually a player, and then Chipsa himself on Twitter confirmed that he's joining the Fusion as a player, and I'm just losing my mind, guys. I apologize. I'm going to end the video here now. Make sure to let me know what you think of this Chipsa signing down in the comment section, and if you enjoyed this content, then I would appreciate it if you could hit the like button and sub to my channel if you're new. And if you want to further support me, feel free to follow me on Twitter at ATP Overwatch or by joining my Discord server through the link in the description. And as always, thank you all so much for watching today's video. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, this is ATP signing out. Peace.